Yo, 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 what's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing Team Kings of Games. And today I'm going to be going over some test hands for the latest variation on Zephyr's that I don't even know if I can call it Zephyr. You know what? I'm just going to start calling it 60 card gas. I think that's what I would like to call this deck. But a lot of people are curious about how the deck actually operates. You know, just how it functions on a regular basis. Which is really the test hands are kind of the embodiment of how consistent the deck can be. It's a visual representation of exactly what was defined in the deck profile. But that was just verbiage, and this is kind of visual confirmation that the deck is going to do exactly as what was aforementioned in the deck profile. If you guys haven't seen the deck profile, definitely check it out on my channel or just look it up. This is a 60 card Pendulum Orcust deck, so to speak. It's very, very potent. But let's get these test hands in. I may show a few combos. It just depends how long it takes. I don't want to take too much of your time, but because this deck, a lot of people don't understand how it operates, and people have been asking me how it functions. I'm going to explain the hands a little bit thoroughly and show you the process, the line of play, corresponding, meaning everything's going to be chronological. So there's certain orders that you have to follow. You can't just do things just because you can. You have to kind of, this has to go first, this has to go last, this has to be somewhere in the middle. There are certain areas in the combo sequence that you can have one or two errors and you'll still get a good end result, but there's just certain parts where you just have to do this first or otherwise nothing's going to follow through. So let's get this hand and we'll see how everything is. Oh yeah, this is actually a really good hand. This hand is pure gas. Actually, this hand can play through quite a few hand traps as well. The way my deck functions, you just need two good cards, so to speak. It's reminiscent of how Danger Thunder kind of, it's like Battery Man, Solar, and the White Dragon. So with this deck, it just really needs two good cards. When I say good cards, it's just not an Orcust, not a counter trap, and not a card that you want to search, but like a search card. So for example, if you had three bad cards in hand and these two in your hand, this is playable. If you have three bad cards three bad cards in your hand and these two in your hand, it was playable. And you have this and anything that can get spell counters on it, it's playable. So this entire hand is actually just gas. So we're going to start off by activating Servant, and then I'm going to activate Spell Power Mastery. And I'm going to get two counters on my Servant. I've considered playing Crusader. I'm still actually thinking about him. Or what's his name? I think it's Magister of Endymion. I'm still considering playing him. He's actually a really good card. He didn't make my list because he was a bad card, just because it was just tough on the space. It was really, I had to make a lot of sacrifices. I think I'm gonna search an extra copy of Servant, because I definitely want to keep my Endymion in my deck. I don't think I'd appreciate it at all if somehow my combo sequence Endymion left my deck without me summoning him, because I enjoy having access to that card because it's a very, very powerful card in nearly every matchup. Not just the negation, but the protection that the body provides. It's really, really strong. So next thing we're going to do is let's activate Dragon's Ravine, and let's use this effect. And the cost, we will just discard the Servant, the extra copy, and this also has 3 counters. So either one of these cards can bait a hand trap, and if they hand trap the Servant and this resolves, you'll still be able to play. If they hand trap this and this resolves, you'll still be able to play. You still have 2 life cards in hand that are actually really good. So yeah, trust me. Like I said, this deck can play through hand traps, and this hand also can clearly play through hand traps. So we're going to summon a Dark Worm. We're going to summon one. We're going to grab our Gate 0. Yeah, but this hand really is gas. I have to say that one more time. Like, ladies and gentlemen, this hand is gas. So we've got a Gate 0. And then the next step we will take, since we already have a low scale and we have a way to search a high scale, is we're going to go ahead and remove 3 for cost, and we're going to summon our Servant and the Jackal King. I prefer the Jackal King. Like I said, I just leave the Endymion in my deck because I like to have access to that card. I save him for when I need him. But most instances when you're going in for a big push or a strong play and you do not want a hand trap to rip your resources apart, you definitely want to put out a Jackal King. It covers more ground. And Permanence may be a good staple hand trap, but you'll see Ogres, Veilers, and Ash Blossoms more often because it's a wider variety of monster hand traps than there are spells or traps. So Jackal King's definitely the way to go. Then we'll go ahead and activate our Oracle, get them 3 counters, so that way the pin call can't be ashed either. But either way, like I said, it's a test hand, so it doesn't really matter. But whenever you can, you get the chance, just play around the hand traps as if they were there, even if they're not. Just keep the mindset of he does have the out, he does have the interaction to stop this. And what this deck is really good at, this deck provides a lot of countermeasures. And it's kind of like when you're playing a game when you punish someone for trying to do something to you. It's like a punish when they've attempted something but it was risky, or when you attempted something that was risky and your opponent can, for example, punish you with an Ash Blossom. But this deck has countermeasures where you trying to punish me for overcommitting and I actually punish you in response, and mine solidifies my board while at the same time stopping you from punishing me. So yeah, it gets really intense when you're building your combo sequences with this deck. The next thing that we shall do is we'll go ahead and activate Zephyrath and scale. Then we'll go for a Duelist Alliance. He's going to go up to 5 counters. We're going to get ourselves a Pendulum Call. And we're going to go ahead and activate it and discard the Gate 0 for cost. So that's going to put our Jackal King up to 7 counters. And that matters because when you're playing a deck like this and you have Garuda needs spell counters as well as Endymion. So anytime I decide to access Endymion or Garuda, I have a resource pool holding spell counters ready for me to access at any time. So whenever you can cash in, you, so to speak, treat this as a bank and deposit as many spell counters on it as you can. You never know when that may come in handy in the middle of a combo sequence, or whenever you're getting ready to go for a big push and you need an Endymion. For example, you Mastery or Electromite and put them in scale, you'll have enough to actually withdraw from that bank and take 6 counters and start blowing some cards up and get the job done, you know? So we're going to grab the Purple Poison and the Harmonizing Magician. We have not went in for Electromite, but also at this instance, if you are still trying to play around, for example, Ghost Ogre or End Veiler, something like that, and you just didn't have the Jackal King, you would make Electromite and not use this effect until after you Pendulum Summon. That way, it'll be more solidified, more impermeable, so to speak, and also you're not going to get punished for being greedy. That's just if you didn't have the Jackal King. I think the next thing that we'll do is we'll go ahead and activate Zephyrath's effect, because he's going to be the card in scale that we destroy. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and make that Electromite. And we haven't even normal summoned, which is really good, because if we, for example, just had to, you know, have like the need for a normal summon, we have not normal summoned yet. So we will activate Electromite's effect in this instance. Knowing that an impermanence will not actually stop our turn, it will not. And knowing that the Electromite will not be able to be Ogre because of Jackal King. But like I said, in any other instance when you can't protect it, you definitely don't want to use Electromite's effect if you absolutely do not need to. But if you're just doing it to be greedy, that's, you know, that's a decision that's a risk that you're gonna have to take. So I think in this instance, since Jackal King is getting so loaded, I'm gonna send the Endymion so that I have a way to clear my opponent's field just in case things get ugly. But you know what? I think instead of doing that, I'm just going to have faith in how solidified the board's going to be. So I'm going to send a chronograph. But I do things certain times whenever I'm building my board. Like I'll set up like what I call in my deck profile looming threats. Meaning they're kind of just there and they're present on the board, but you're so worried about the active cards that are actually able to interact with you right now. And this card just needs one more turn and it's going to actually probably just change the game state. So like having Endymion in your Pendulum scale when you have some pool of resources that's holding over 6 spell counters, that's dangerous to your opponent because at any time you can resolve that and it's like dropping a bomb on them in the middle of a game. But we're going to send the Chrono, we're going to use him destroy Zephyrath after Chrono, draw 1 card, it's Dragon Shrine. It's not needed, but it can be a follow-up for the next turn. You never know when Destrudo might be handy a second time. Next up, we're going to activate Chrono in scale, that's going to bring him up to 9 counters. And you're going to keep track of those counters because it's going to matter whenever you want to cash in. Now we're going to bring them up to 11 counters. Since Jackal King is holding a lot of resources for us. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to Pendulum Summon out Zephyr Neo, Dark Worm from our Pendulums, from our extra deck, and from our hand, we're going to summon out our Harmonizing Magician. And we're going to say Chain Link 1, Zephyr Neo, Chain Link 2, Harmonizing. Harmonizing does not matter as much as Zephyr Neo, so anytime, like I said, you can play around hand traps, you do so. And then next up, we're going to search out our Zephyr Providence, get some more counters on our Jackal King, and get some protection in our graveyard. So, you know, you're just setting up so many layers of protection, making sure that your board is going to be durable. You definitely don't want a board that can be broken. You're trying to be as unfair as you possibly can, and as consistently. So the next step I'll go ahead and just activate this Providence, which is going to bring this man actually to 11 spell counters. So, ladies and gentlemen, this Jackal King has definitely had his fair share of life. I think he's lived and enjoyed himself for a very long time. Clearly, he's just having a good time right now. This Jackal King is lit. He's litty, you guys. So we'll grab a Divine Strike. In fact, that Dragon Shrine might just be discard fodder for an Orcust combo. I'm feeling jolly today. So we're going to link the Dark Worm. We're going to convert him into an LP. We're going to take this Harmonizing that absolutely can be used as a link material with this Electromite. A lot of people mistake the restriction on Harmonizing. It was actually created before Master 4 was implemented in the game, ladies and gentlemen. So Harmonizing can be used as a link material with other monsters that are not magicians. We'll activate the LP, and we'll go ahead and summon out the Destrudo from our deck. That's an extender that's going to assist us to get to the Orcust portion of our deck, but the extra body being Purple Poison doesn't hurt either. So we're going to go ahead and convert the Triple Burst and the Destrudo into an Agripain. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to attempt Agripain's effect. We're going to go ahead and special summon out Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon to the zone that both these dragons point to. We're going to convert these two in the Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. And the next thing that we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to activate our Destrudo, and we are going to convert this Zephyr and this Destrudo. So we're going to summon a Destrudo. We're targeting Zephyr, summoning Destrudo, and then we're going to go ahead and link. And the crazy thing too is that we can just get out more hard negates. If we felt that the sphere wasn't good enough, we can basically synchro with this and this to shooting Rizar, dump a level 6, make him a 1. That's how I'm playing the deck now. Then we convert this and this into the Nightmare play, and then do the Orcust combo and get out more hard negates. But I kind of like the flexibility of having the hard negates and the floodgates, and also just the bounces and the sins. Those minuscule interactions all add up. Like, it's just incremental value. It's like everything's fragmented incrementally, so to speak. When you're trying to build up this board that you're trying to establish, you want to have interruptions that are all not hard negations, something that can kind of shatter a barrier whenever you need it to. So we're going to link, and we're going to keep the purple because he's actually going to make the board stronger and harder to break. Having a purple here and a purple in scale makes it very difficult. And the chronograph, actually, that's amazing. I didn't realize that we had the extender that we hadn't used. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to synchro for shooting Rizar Dragon. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this hand is actually amazing. We're going to synchro summon for shooting Rizar. Then we're going to activate Rizar's effect. I had no idea I hadn't resolved chronograph. I forgot. I gave myself that play. I did set that. I set that play up intentionally. I just got so fixated on what I was explaining to you guys that I forgot about my own combo sequence. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this deck is a monstrosity. We're going to activate Chronograph's effect in the scale. We're going to bring out the Time Gazer. That is not a brick. I repeat, it is not a brick. It's a really great card. Definitely just pick a card up and read its effect. Try it out. It's a really good card. So we're going in for Time Gazer. Then we're going to convert the Time Gazer in the purple. But still having the Jackal King up means that we have a Dark Spellcaster to interact with Purple Poison. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when I say that is my favorite magician, he truly is. So we're going to go for a Cerberus. Then we're going to go for a Mermaid. And remember, we have done the Rizar play before going for the Orcust, so we were not under a restriction of Darks only when we summoned this card. This is going to be converted into a Borreload Savage Dragon on our opponent's turn. So we're going to discard the Dragon Shrine for cost. We're going to do the Orcust combo. This is how this deck goes off, you guys. You guys are seeing firsthand me going off. I think we've accessed every portion of our deck. The Mythical Beast engine, the Magician engine, the Endymion engine, the Zephyr portion of our deck, the Guard Dragon portion, the Orcust portion. This hand has literally brought into fruition every single implemented and every single corresponding engine that is integrated in this deck has been interacted with in this turn. Like, every single portion of the deck has been accessed. That's how good this hand. Fiber Pacific. That is amazing. Every single Akrute Mont has been accounted for. So we're going to use Harpor. Harpor is going to go ahead and bring out the Simple Skeleton. And next we're going to convert the Simple Skeleton and the Galatea into a second copy of Galatea. We're going to use the Skeleton. In your main combo, it takes out 13 cards from your extra deck. So just food for thought. It's actually an insane combo, and it requires that much resources from your extra deck. But this deck can still get the job done after that, because you have the Orcust, you have your main deck threats, your bombs like Endymion, Jackal Kings. You still have access to all of your purple poisons. Trust me, it's not over when the extra deck's gone. So we're going to use Galatea to put the Skeletor back. We're going to go ahead and set another counter trap because we're trying to solidify our board and make sure that it is unbreakable as possible. And so something different that we can do here. Set these. And having the shooting Rizar is very interesting. It helps you out so that you can still summon the Amorphage Sloth in your opponent's turn. That's why I appreciate this more than the Don Dragster. So you have to realize, well, everything that I do in this deck it's for a purpose. And I plan very far ahead when I play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's normally like a game of chess for me. So I'm thinking about turn 1, 2, and 3, and 4 as far as I can go on turn 1. I'm not just worried about getting that turn done. I'm setting up for other turns. But this is a really good setup because what it's going to do is it's going to synchro with the Vortex when you're done with the Vortex to make the Savage on your opponent's turn. And that clears that zone up so that you can use the Seal to summon the Sloth. And that means you can still keep your Dingeritsu and your Galatea. So your counter traps are not going to lose their value. You're going to keep the targets valid. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to set both these counter traps. We're going to summon a Dingeritsu. And we're going to attach the Nightmare. And the cards left in our extra deck are these three. Which this is just insane, ladies and gentlemen. So your ending board, you have 1 negate, 2 negates, 3 negates, 4 negates, 5 negations. 4 are Omni negates. 1 is specific to monsters. You have the Heretic Seal. And this, so basically what's going to happen, you're going to use Vortex, and then on Resolution, you're going to use this to synchro on your opponent's turn to summon the Savage. It's if effect, but not mistiming. And then you'll go ahead and equip the Triple Burst. And that's on your opponent's turn. And you still have the Jackal King. You have both your counter traps. The Dingeritsu is going to protect the Sloth when you use the Seal to summon the Sloth. And your opponent's going to try to kill that Sloth. And they're going to have to kill it 3 times playing under your 5 negate board. With the protection of Dingeritsu, which means Twin Twisters, Afterburners, Jamming Waves, Pankratops. All those cards, they're not going to work. They're not even going to be able to bait negations. If your opponent is a mirror match, they try to use Purple Poison, it won't even work. And Purple Poison is a redonkulous card. So this board, I would say, is definitely unbreakable. And this is it doesn't matter what deck you're playing. This is just, there is no way, and it never happens. Like it doesn't happen. So that's a great test hand. That's a great example of how potent and how high magnitude the plays are in this deck. It's a very, very high learning curve, I think, and it takes a lot of practicing, repetition, and memorization to get this deck down to the exact science that I've gotten it down to so far. It requires a lot more than just visualization, so to speak. So watching it is not going to teach you everything like you watching me do this test hand. You're going to have to practice it yourself and give it some time. Because it rewards, what I enjoy the most about this deck is that it rewards a skilled player and it rewards patience. Everything does not have to happen at once. Like how I resolved every powerful combo in my deck, that did not all have to happen in one turn. Sometimes the deck will reward you more and your follow-up play will be stronger than your starting play if you just play a little bit conservative sometimes. But that's just all little tools and advice that can go into this video to help you to understand how good this deck is. So this is the opening hand. We have a Servant and a Dragon Shrine, which is already nuts. And then we have a Pendulum Call that we don't necessarily need because we do double Harmonizing. That's very strange. But nonetheless, it means that if Pin Call gets ashed, we still have a Harmonizing to play with. So we'll activate the Servant. We'll activate the Dragon Shrine. And this hand also can play through hand traps because the Pin Call is a hand trap bait and so is the Servant. And one of them resolving means that you can still play. So even if your opponent just ashes one of them, you can play through that ash. Especially because the Dragon Shrine normally doesn't get ashed. And if they ash the Dragon Shrine, that's even better. But the Dragon Shrine is what's going to help you to get there. So that either follow-up, whether it's the Servant or the Pin Call, if they resolve, you'll be able to get enough resources for a big push. We're going to search out the gate 0. That's 1 counter. Then we're going to go ahead and Duelist Alliance, give her 2 counters. I'm glad it's Alliance and not Pin Call, which helps it out to set up Servant better. And then we're going to activate the Pin Call. Whenever you open Alliance with Servant, you're always going to get more counters that way. And we're going to discard the non-foreign Harmonizing and get ourselves a Purple Poison and a Harmonizing. So we've burned through all of our Harmonizing, but you normally only need to resolve 1. Very few instances where I need the second one. But I try to keep 1 in deck whenever that does come up, but I think just because of how this hand's set up, we're not going to have any follow-up Harmonizings. If we can't get ourselves to a high scale, that is. But we're going to go ahead and attempt the Servant. Bring out another Jackal King, of course. Very consistent seeing the Endymion portion of the deck. The Endymion portion of the deck just helps to protect you from hand traps with such ease. It's great. It gives you great fluency, just being able to navigate thoroughly through some of the best boards just because of Servant. It just being such a potent card. it really helps you out a lot in all of your game states. We'll go ahead and activate gate 0. And this hand actually enables you to do the guard dragon combo before pendulum summoning. So I'll show you guys that just to show you that it's a possibility. This is reckless and you only do it when you're able to do it with protection. But I'm going to show you guys it even though it's not necessary. I just want to show you guys that this hand is so good that I can do the guard dragon combo before pendulum summoning. So what we're going to do here is we're going to normal summon one of our harmonizings. We're going to link summon with the servant and the harmonizing. We're going to make the electromite. It's risky if you don't have protection. Like, for example, if we send an extender like Chronograph, then we could keep the Jackal King and do this Guard Dragon combo with the Jackal King on board, protecting it from hand traps. But I'm going to do it the reckless way, just to show you guys that you can. This is not, I would normally be a little patient. Now, this does get rewarded if it resolves and your opponent doesn't hand trap you, but it's a little bit risky. So this is a punishable play that a proper countermeasure can stop. But basically, if you're able to do the Guard Dragon combo before you pendulum summon, it means that the monsters that you pendulum summon are going to be hard negates instead of materials. Because if you notice, Darkworm and Zephyr Neo are needed as materials more than actually for their effects. But when you're pendulum summoning out Harmonizings and Jackal Kings, when you've already established the Guard Dragon combo, it just, you have negates out and you're about to make more. So you're normally going to have 5 or 6. It's insane how rewarding it is to just resolve the Guard Dragon combo before pendulum summoning. So we're going to activate Electromite. We send Zephyr Neo. We're going to target the gate 0 and we're going to destroy it. We're going to add the Zephyr, then we're going to draw a card. It's Chronograph. It's the extender that we needed, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check the timer. We are... Okay, we're good. But it's the extender that we needed, you guys. I think I'm very hyped because now we're about to resolve the Chronograph. And we are doing the Guard Dragon combo, ladies and gentlemen, with a Jackal King on the field. That is how bonkers that this deck is, ladies and gentlemen, that you can do some nutty shenanigans like this. You haven't even pendulum summoned. We can summon a Boral Sword right now and go in for the kill. I cannot believe how incredible this deck is. This is an amazing deck, you guys. Going for the LP. We're going to go in for the full Guard Dragon combo with the protection. And what's even more amazing is if your opponent has an impermanence for the LP, its effects are negated, so you could just do the Orcust combo. It's just incredible, you guys. It truly is amazing. It's just, wow. This is so exciting right now. I am very, very much so thoroughly enjoying my deck right now. LP's effect, we're going to go ahead, and I just could not believe that I drew the extender that I needed. And I mentioned it in the profile, I mean in this the middle of this video, and it happens. That's the exact card that I needed. So that way we can have the Jackal King up and we don't have to lose that negation. Even though we were going to pendulum summon it back out, it just means now we can go in for a bigger push with Harmonizing. So Agripane is going to go ahead and bust out the Vortex. We're going to convert these two. Oh yeah, this hand is the tits. This is a bonkers combo sequence right now. So we're going to activate Zephyrath. We're going to send Zephyr Neo. We're going to activate the Magician and scale, so now we have 9 counters on our Jackal King. He is a big bank right now. So we're gonna pendulum summon out from our extra deck. We actually only need the Zephyr Neo, so we're gonna summon the Zephyr Neo and the Harmonizing, and Chainlink 1 Zephyr Neo, Chainlink 2 Harmonizing. Harmonizing is gonna bring out a purple poison. That's gonna bring out a purple poison. And Zephyr Neo is going to get the Zephyr Providence. I cannot believe how bonkers this deck is, you guys. I mean, I've seen it in action. I've played it. I've been enjoying this deck for about 3 months now. But it's just, it never ceases to amaze me. That's how great a deck this is. We're going to overlay these for the Dweller, actually, because we can make the Savage on our opponent's turn if we really wanted to. But I think the Blind Dweller is just going to be better. And we've added the Providence. We're going to go ahead and activate it. We're going to get our Counter Trap. And then at this point, you decide what's more valuable. Going in for Shooting Rizar to make Savage on your opponent's turn, which is another negate, or going in for the Orcust combo, which is another negate plus protection. And what I say is, I'd say go for the Orcust combo. So we're going to grab the Divine Strike, and then we're going to use the Destrudo. Actually, where's the Destrudo that we summoned? Oh yeah, I put it in our extra deck. Actually, now that I think of it, because I'd be sacrificing Divine Strike for the Orcust combo, that means trading a negate for a negate, basically. I'd rather just go for the Savage combo. So we won't do the Orcust portion of the deck this time. If we wanted to do the Orcust portion, we didn't have to make the Dweller. But I just wanted to make a different looking board from the last one. But nonetheless, this board is still really, really potent. And it's nearly impermeable, I'll say that most definitely. And the fact that you have the Orcust as a follow-up combo is amazing. Which means that you can have even a bigger push. But this is definitely enough. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negate board with the seal. And yeah, it's going to get even better because the Orcus are still in your deck, which means another powerful combo hasn't even resolved. You just can't protect the slot as much as you would like to, but that's by choice. I could still do the Orcus combo if I wanted to. I just would have to basically not use the Dweller, not make the Dweller. That's the only difference. So yeah, you guys, that's an incredible hand. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. There's a lot more test hands that I can do, but I don't want this video to be too long. But you guys kind of understand and see how powerful this deck is and how much options it has, because that board that I made was one of the many of boards that I could have made. It didn't have to be that particular board. And as I was mentioning, there was still a whole nother combo in my deck that I did not get to resolve. Why? Because my monster zones were full. I literally did not have enough space to do the shooting Rhizar and the Dweller and the Orcust combo. So I had to pick one, and I decided, since the Orcust combo required a discard for cost, that I would just not resolve it. But you couldn't get the Rhizar and the Dweller and then do the Orcust combo after that. And that's unfortunate. If I had one extra monster zone, I would have just been like, screw it, let's discard the counter trap, because we can still make a Savage on our opponent's turn. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let's check the timer on it. That's a decent timer. I appreciate those of you who had the patience to stick this through and watch it at the end. I know it was only 2 test hands, but just keep in mind, this is a very, very, very combo-centric deck. It's very thorough and intricate. All the lines of plays require a lot of patience, understanding. Like I said, chronological order. Just remember all the sequences that I followed. Pilot the deck correctly. It'll reward you. And just keep in mind, all the combos are really long too. So it's definitely going to take some memorization and a little bit of repetition to get everything down. But you guys got this. I believe in you. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. And you folks have a beautiful day, all right? Be safe.